ass person.
I will be the last to fall. I won't shed a tear for them to see. I won't have your name to call, 'cause I will be the last to fall.
eastern Kentucky. It's located within the heart of the Appalachian Mountains. Beautiful, hypnotizing, and a lot of other people call it home. It's a different way of life here that hasn't been painted very kindly by national media. But they're more worried about dollar signs than they've ever been about delivering an unbiased and impartial truth. The truth is, Eastern Kentucky has its share of problems, just like Los Angeles, New York, or anywhere in the world that you want to go. Doesn't matter. But they also have something that has been left behind in so many places. A place where an emphatic importance is placed on family and friendships. Now, it is scenic, and it's packed with things for people to do, especially if you enjoy being outdoors. But for all of its wonders and sights, as well as friendly people and a slightly slower pace of life, it can also be dangerous. My story begins when I was a child back in the 1950s. We lived in a small Johnson County community called Paintsville, Kentucky. We were proud of our little house that we had up on the hillside. We all took a lot of pride in our homestead and worked hard to keep it in good shape. I had 2 older brothers and 1 older sister, and then there was me, the baby of the family, as they'd say. So, along with us kids and my parents, there were 6 of us living in a 2-bedroom home. Now, even though we were poor, we had everything we needed. We were rich in love. My father was a coal truck driver back then, and there were some shifts where he had to be gone from home all night. This night was one of those shifts. It would be one that we'd never forget. He was leaving for a long haul to Tennessee and wouldn't be back until the following evening. Our mother fixed up his lunch, dinner, and biscuits, and packed everything up into his lunchbox. He gave us all a kiss, and he was headed out. Now, he was a hard worker and believed in taking care of his family. Now, he did remind us as he was walking to the truck to be sure the doors were locked and to take care of one another and our mom. My father and uncle had recently built a really good-sized smokehouse just around the back. Now, they would smoke meat there throughout the year, so we'd have plenty in case we needed it or the family member may have needed food. We never went hungry. You could smell that sweet bacon curing for at least a mile away, I'd say. Especially when they were curing it with sweet apple wood. Soon enough that evening, all of our chores were done, and the garden had been tended to. And we were tired, just settling in for the evening. Well, I decided I'd better go outside to the outhouse before turning in. As bad as I hated going out there at night. Well, it wasn't that dark yet. Or I kept telling myself that. So as I was stepping out of the outhouse, I heard some rustling sounds of leaves, sticks, and rocks. I looked over on the hill, scanning it for what I figured was surely a deer, and that's when I saw it. And the sight of it shocked me so bad. I'll never get over it. Never. I rubbed my eyes to make sure that I was seeing what it truly was. It was a monster. Or a beast of some kind. It was huge. Stood so tall like a huge man and walked on 2 legs just like a man does, and taking careful steps, looking at me with that long hair outlining its dark face. It was light tan-colored, with long hair all over its body from head to toe, and oh my God, you could smell it. It smelled so foul. I finally got back to the door of our house as fast as I could, and I tried to control my screams as I told my mother and siblings what I'd just seen. They immediately all rushed over and looked out of the big back window. Now the boys ran and got our father's big flashlight, and they would shine it straight at the monster's face, and when they did, it would stop dead in its tracks. Then, when they moved the flashlight off of its face, the monster would begin to walk towards us again, arms swinging, and you could see its long hair on its arms blowing when the wind would touch it. Our mother had already begun putting the dining room table against the door, then our small couch. Our watchdog had ran in with me, and he hid under our parents' bed, and he was still there whimpering and shaking, refusing to come out. The monster was now making growls, and we knew he had reached our smokehouse, which was only mere feet from our window. We were all holding on to each other and saying prayers out loud. We were horrified. We were all trying not to cry out, to not worry one another or look any less brave. But, I mean, can you imagine the fear of losing your family to something like this? Something as scary as that thing? Well, none of us slept that night, needless to say. We didn't even move until daylight. When our father came home the next day, we told him what had happened. He was shocked, but so thankful that we were all okay. He then walked our road and asked the neighbors if they'd seen anything. Well, come to find out, he found out that the other neighbors had seen it as well, and one neighbor across the hillside from us, well, he had done more than see it. He had also found 2 of his goats that were half-eaten and carcasses were just lying on the hill, slung there. The last neighbor on our road was missing some laying chickens, and he found bits and parts of them. The police came the next day and took photos, and also, well, they tried to take a cast of these huge footprints. But it had rained, and the cast of the print didn't turn out well at all. Our horrifying experience will never be forgotten. And although several people had seen it in our area, some had even lost their animals to this 7.5 to 8 foot tall Sasquatch monster, its story was quickly replaced with people saying that it was probably a bear, and well, it wasn't spoke of much after that. One thing's for certain. We were all thankful that we never saw it again. We were even more thankful that no one was killed in our area. That is one of those things that I don't think you ever get over. It's been over 70 years since that happened. Up until tonight, You guys were the only ones to see this, aside from Stace, who joins me now. Um, and let me get the pink elephant out of the room. Sorry about being late tonight, but um, sometimes when you deal with equipment that is sensitive, she becomes a little bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And it all actually started last week when I was creating the promos for this thing. I downloaded a virus. What happened? And I thought that I'd had the remnants of it swept away like the old Republic, but it turns out there was still a rebel force, and I went Darth Vader on its ass, and it's gone now. So I think,
Good deal.
yeah, after multiple scans and finding the root cause of the issue, what exactly was it that I downloaded? And you all saw the picture of Bigfoot, the first one, with the blue light behind it.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be the one.
That was the one.
Yeah. The one that you sent me, Stace, was fine. No problems with it whatsoever.
Good.
Anyways, all that's in the past. It's gone. It's over with. It's done now. And next week we'll actually try to be on time. I think we were only 5 or 10 minutes this evening.
Yeah. Shit, it wasn't nothing.
I've been fighting with it. Crap.
I know you were fighting with it.
Yeah. Well, you know everything that's going on. So, but when people found out that we were going to do this particular episode, Terror in the Mountains, or A Mountain of Terror, whatever it was, I actually had some. Do you really believe that? And I said, considering the source, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this individual who submitted this is not only a known but a well-respected resident in Johnson County. And this person is also, because of this, we think, of course, I'm not a psychologist, but because of this, is beginning to deal with these things. When you see something like that and you're a child, it changes every damn thing. It changes everything.
Yeah.
So this also expands what we have been doing, because true crime is true crime. It covers all kinds of crap. I don't care about the bank robbery and like that, but the murders and the missing and abused kids, abused seniors, that sets me on fire.
Mm-hmm.
But what Stace does with the paranormal side of things, paranormal is a great big category. And people hear paranormal, and the first thing that a lot of people think of, myself included at one point, was spirits, ghosts, hauntings. Paranormal, as defined, as you saw here at the beginning of this episode, at the little screen that we pop up there, it's anything outside of the realm of scientific explanation that's plausible. In other words, it's crap that we can't explain, like those lights in the sky. Why? How is it that they're traveling down and then just do a straight 90-degree angle, which is it's practically impossible with the technology that we have in the aircraft we have today. It is also hauntings, but it is also, cryptid itself means, animals that we don't necessarily believe are real. Well, guess what? Yeah, there's things out there that we can't explain. Now, some of the things that are behind it that we can't explain, some theories, Stace, are that the Sasquatch or the Bigfoot, and I'd really love to get an expert on the show. So if you guys out there know one, email me at themountainmysteries@gmail.com or reach out to me on Facebook, whatever. But I'd love to have an expert or somebody who knows a lot more about this than I do on here. But what is it? Interdimensional travel. Some people think that was it you that told me that you had watched an episode of something?
Yes, about the Sasquatch.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Yeah. It escapes me exactly who the speaker was. I can see him.
Been a hot minute ago, yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy that you always watch who always specializes in talking about aliens, and his hair is always standing up to here. I can't remember his name right off the bat.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he was talking about the Sasquatch and how that they have done so many studies and go back so many years of these studies, and they're going back to the pre-Bible times and the art that's in the Bible and all this. And he goes to explaining that one of the theories is the aliens made the Sasquatch, and they helped to build all of these structures and help them with
Like the
whatever they
pyramids.
needed. Yeah, and that is also another reason why no one ever happens to find their bodies, or is lucky enough to catch them and put them on exhibit and all this, because they're tended to by the aliens. They called them inky doos.
Inky doos.
Inky doo. That's what he called them.
Inky doo. Yeah, this guy, he's always the guy still talking like he's doing this. Yeah. I know who you're talking about. I just don't know.
Oh yeah, he's a genius. He's got some killer theories.
He really does. And the scary
But it
part
was
is,
interesting. It really, I mean,
it
of
makes
course
sense.
he could fill it all in for you, and a lot better than me. But man,
Well, yeah, like I said, and his theories typically, if you can listen to him for a few seconds, they wind up making sense, and they make sense pretty quick too.
yeah,
But this is another thing. I do not want people to think that they can't come to me and say, I'm not going to tell him this story. He'll think I'm crazier than a damn loon.
we've heard it all.
No, I'm not going to think you're crazy.
Mm-mm.
I don't. I have never actually seen one of these things. I can tell you I have heard something late at night. Now, granted, I know what a deer sounds like. I don't live in the woods, but I'm a Kentucky boy. I know what a squirrel sounds like. And I also know what it sounds like when somebody's walking in the woods. And plus or minus whatever poundage, I can normally take a guess and say, well, that's either something heavier or something a little lighter, whatever the case may be. And you can tell that just by the rustling of the leaves, snapping of twigs and sticks, if you sit back and you listen for a moment. Deers, you can tell what four hooves on dirt and grass and leaves, what have you, sound like. It's four sounds. Then, of course, you've got the squirrels, where they're like mine and Lloyd's brain. They're all over the damn place. And then you got something different. And most guys aren't going to be out in the neck of the woods that late at night, because most guys, if they go out there in the woods, they're hunting. Okay, they're hunting deer, they're hunting whatever. They're not going to be out there that late at night. Now, by late at night, I don't mean early in the morning. I don't mean 4 or 5, 6 in the morning. A lot of deer hunters do that. I get that. But we're talking about, and they're not going to have the strength. And, some of these shelters that these Sasquatch that I've seen on television, like what is it, Expedition Bigfoot and hunting Squatch or whatever it is, or I don't want to make sure it's not messing with Sasquatch. That's Jack Link's. But these shelters and these things that they build, and the tree knocking. Now, I can tell you, back in 2017, Trevor and I had rode down to Two Wheels of Suches, which is a motorcycle campground in the northern Georgia mountains. Guess where one of the places that these things are supposed to be known to hang out is? The northern Georgia mountains. It's still in the footholds of the Appalachian Mountains. They're really bad in the Pacific Northwest, but right here in the Appalachian Mountains, had a lot of reports of them here too. So this was the one. If you guys are on my Facebook page and you've seen this picture of Trev, he's red in the face. He's sitting there with a bottle of water, and he looks like he's about ready to fall over. That was a trip I told you about that we took, and he was sick as a dog. We stopped in Tennessee. I said, bro, we can turn these things around right now and go back home. No. We're going. Okay, so we went. And anyways, it was that night. He had managed to take I don't know, Stace, maybe a 10 or 15 minute cat nap that day. And I mean, I was just kind of excited to be there. And I was like, hell, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I can't sleep. And we had split a cabin. We were in this one little cabin for 2 people. We had 2 twin beds. And I just got up out of mine and I walked outside and sat down. And he came outside right behind me because he couldn't sleep either. Anyways, it's pitch black. It's pitch night. There are no street lights out there. It's off. It's almost off the grid. Now, where they had a big shower house or a bathhouse that had lights, and of course, right across the way from us, there was a place that had like the restaurant and like the suites above it where people would stay. Um, it had electricity, but out there where we were at, we had plug-ins, but we had no lights in the cabin. Odd, I know, but hey, it's comfortable. It's beautiful out there. So I'm sitting outside, and we start hearing knocking on trees, coming from this side, coming from that side, coming from this side, coming from that side. And I'm sitting out there thinking, holy shit, we're going to get freaking ate. There's a Bigfoot out here. There's big feet out here. And Trevor looks over at me, and you got to picture this in your mind. You know, he looks over and he said, bro, that ain't big feet. And I said, those are big feet. They're talking to each other. And they're probably planning whether or not they're going to have corn on the cob with us or mashed tatties. He said, those aren't big feet. He said, those are dick furs. I said, what's a dick fur? And he looks at me and he goes, to be with. He's making fun of this situation.
I believe there's something worse.
And I'm about ready to literally piss myself all because anyways, there was tree knocking going on. And we saw other things, or we thought we saw things that we could not explain. And the tree knocking thing is supposed to be a way out of several, I'm sure, that they communicate without that howl. Now, that howl that you heard in the video, allegedly, that is the howl of a true, genuine Sasquatch that was recorded, not around here, but it was recorded in British Vancouver, Columbia, some 8 or 9 years ago, I guess it was. They had it on the news because they brought in this sound guy who had done, it was Ben Burt is who it was. He had done sound for Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and all that. And they said, what is this? So he took it, he sped it up, slowed it down, done everything. He picked it apart. And he come back, he said, it's a howl. He said, it ain't a special effect. He said, it's a howl. So then they took it to the University of BC, and they said it was not by any identifiable animal that they could pinpoint. They didn't know what the hell this thing was. And then that news article, and Lori just said, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that news article actually made headlines all over the world. Might not have caught video of them. It might have been the Patterson footage, but they caught audio of it. And let me tell you, there was also another one caught in Ohio that was very similar to that. And that was, gosh, I guess probably over 20 years ago. These things, just because we can't explain them, makes them no less valid. And I do think that there's things out there that we can't explain. My dad, rest his soul, used to say, there's all kinds of things in those hills. Doesn't mean you need to go looking for them. It's a matter of fact, you probably shouldn't. And I ain't got no desire to go looking. But when it happens upon you, like it did this individual in Johnson County when they were but a child, you didn't go looking for it. And I'm not necessarily, I think it was in that area anyways, probably doing what most you would think, looking for something to eat. And didn't they say that what was it called? A smokehouse? The smokehouse was really close to the house. I mean, you could throw a rock and hit it.
Mm-hmm.
And
steps away from the main window, they said.
And of course, in there, they would butcher a hog every fall, like so many people do, still do to this day. A lot of people do, and with the price of groceries, who can blame them? And that's a much better food anyway. There's no preservatives. But the ham, the bacon, et cetera, whatever it may be. And I'm sure that individual is right. You could, especially when it comes to that applewood, you could probably smell that bacon curing a country mile away.
Yeah.
My God, it's got me wanting bacon now.
For years, they
Oh.
were telling me about it. They said you could smell it in the smokehouse for years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, Hattie said my dad was a smart man. Yeah, Dad was a Vietnam vet, had pulled 2 tours, 101st Screaming Eagle. You know, he had done a lot of stuff in his life. And he said 98% of it he wasn't proud of. He said the 2% he was proud of was his sons and his wife. He said, but the rest of it, he said, whatever. He said, but anyways, Dad always had solid advice. Because I told him, I said, I'd love to see one in person. He said, yeah, you think that until you run across it. He said, and then you're wondering. He said, you're not wondering why you went looking. He said, you're wondering if you're going to draw another breath. You're wondering if you're going to live the next 30 seconds, the next 5 seconds. He said, you got to remember, eternity is one heartbeat away. He said, death is a heartbeat away.
Right.
He said, those damn things, they won't care. I have never heard of anyone being murdered by one or killed by one. And by the same token, I've never heard of anybody killing or murdering one. So it does lend credence, I think, to the theory that something is there. Now, that's not the only thing. You know, you've got the Loch Ness Monster, and you got so many other things. You know, there's this, and I'd like to get her on the show. She and I had talked briefly, and she had kind of expressed interest, and we got off on another topic of conversation. But she's got an Instagram channel. And I think it's Kentucky After Dark is what it's called. I think she's great. And she talks about these stories in Kentucky. Right now, she's on this Henderson, Kentucky kick, apparently, which is supposed to be one of the most haunted cities in the Commonwealth, in the Commonwealth. But she also talks about Dog Man, the Goat Man of around Louisville, which we've done an episode on that, on the Mountain Mysteries. And I laughed my ever-loving ass off when I was doing that. Because every time I saw Goat Man, I was thinking of Goat Boy on Saturday Night Live. It's just bad, you know. So, and apparently it's nothing to laugh at. Apparently there's people out there that honestly and fervently believe there's something there. And there's so many other things out there that could be. And it's like Lori had said up here earlier, the paranormal encompasses a lot of things. It's anything that is outside of the scope of what we consider to be normal. Well, that's all up to us. What do you consider to be normal? What Stace considers to be normal and what I do may be two different things. Same thing for you. But we can all agree we know what a dog is. We know what a deer is. We know what a cat is. We know what snakes are. But that son bitch standing over by that tree, it's about 9 foot tall, goes somewhere in the neighborhood of right at 1,000 pounds, and got shoulders that are this wide and hips that, and just looks like Johnny Bravo on roids. You're sitting there thinking, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Jesus, it looks like Chewbacca and smells like your ex. There's something to it. And especially when you get reputable people like this individual is, you're thinking, I mean, I've known this individual for a long time.
Yeah. The whole family, I spoke to the whole family about it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, each kid, you know, they had grown up
mm-hmm.
and seen the same thing. We're talking years later, they still, every single one of them.
It's the same story.
Exact identical way of describing it, and them not even being in the same house, you know, when you talk to them about it.
No, they said it had what, kind of like a tan color fur.
So they went from like a tannish to a little darker, darker tan. But one thing they all talked about was the way that when the wind would hit it, the hair would blow, and you could see the hair blowing.
And that smell would probably follow it right behind you. Knock a buzzard off a gut wagon.
Yep.
Well, you know, in Florida, they call him a skunk ape.
Don't say it.
I know Lloyd said, no, you don't know what the hell he's going to do next. So, really, I mean.
I had to get one step ahead of him.
He's rolling the dice. You know, next week when the opening hits, it's probably going to say, well, polish your molars or something like that. I don't know. We always change it up. I think this week, what was it that I know it had been that he'll keep your biscuits warm, and I forget what I put on there this week. I got so wrapped up in trying to get this thing straightened out. But anyways, Lloyd is the comic relief, and that's what he does. He does that very well. So I'm very grateful for him because I need that this evening. This thing has driven me crazy.
No doubt. I know
Well,
you've been
it's not just
working it for a
do this
while.
show on. It is also how I handle the radio station. It's how I do
Yeah.
voiceovers for other clients. It's how everything. So my mind doesn't change. I'd say by September, November, we're going to have a brand new system in here, a backup system. Because I just think it's crazy not to have. You don't keep all of your eggs in one basket. You may start out that way. Never hurts to have another basket. So, with that being said, I do thank the individual, and thank you very much, baby, for transcribing this.
Anytime.
Your work is impeccable. And Lori has also offered to transcribe some too. Apparently, she enjoys doing that thing too. But just like you two are gluttons for punishment with what you guys do. Stacy, paranormal investigator. Well, Lori does too, and then she works, I think, at a hospital. So it's like you guys are just gluttons for punishment. My kid is even like, that is so cool. So, email me again at themountainmysteries@gmail.com. Reach out to me on Facebook, however you want to do it. I am interested in hearing stories. I'd like to do at least one of these a week. And what we're going to do is put a little collection of them together. This one ran about 12 or 15 minutes. And then we had one from Lori that was probably around 10. One from Sharon, which was the farm, around 10. We are moving in a very specific direction for a very specific reason. I am not done yet. We are still going to produce some film. And it's going to be on April. And it's going to be on other things. It's just a question of me and Stace being able to get together, sit down, put it together, script it out where a script is required, or figure out the best way to tell these stories, and then me actually figuring out how to use these cameras. So, and getting the rest of the equipment in place, which is some boom mics and stuff. But yeah, we want to do that. We do, because I've never forgotten that. It's just a question of getting it kind of into place.
Right.
James Paul Prim asked Stacy, did you ever hear the story of a monster up on the hill
behind
our mom's house?
That's what me and Krista were talking about prior to that. When they saw this Sasquatch type thing, everybody, like in different parts of the Johnson County area, had some reports of it. And yeah.
So, again, this is my lack of knowledge.
The Alka.
And my lack of experience, but I don't know that there's somebody just sent me a video of something. Holy shit. This is also somebody else I know and trust quite well. Listen to this. I want to see if you guys can hear this. Well, if I can hit the right button.
I hear it.
Listen to that. That's off in the background. And I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to download this and have that on there for next week, probably. She said that her son videoed this at his house in Oxshire 3 days before a friend had recorded the same thing in Garrett.
Damn.
Listen to that. That's not a deer.
Wow.
And to the individual that sent me that, message me later on, maybe tomorrow or something.
Britta. She said, Jason, I'm sending you a video on that.
Okay. Well, yeah, Jason, you can. But let me tell you, there's things out there that we can't explain. And it's not my job to try to explain them, but to definitely bring them up, and maybe somebody else who knows a little more about it, or a lot more about it in this case, can get it out there for everybody. So that was Britta. Yeah, Jason is sending okay. Thanks, Chris, or thanks, Britta. Loud screaming noise. Yeah, and that doesn't sound like, that's not a kid, and it's not a person. It's some kind of an animal. And yeah, Jenny, you're right. I'd have a damn heart attack. I would. So yeah, so we want to get into a lot of that. And look, Sharon had an experience with something. The girls, Lori and Helen had an experience with something. How many of you had? There's all kinds of stories that we can put to video like this. My thing is, I'm wanting to get away from these plate shots like you're seeing and start actually shooting real footage. But these cameras, you got to have a degree to operate, apparently, or somebody that's just ever so slightly smarter than me, which I should get my kid over here to do it. She'd have figured out in 20 seconds. And the next thing you know, because everybody comes in here and they see, I mean, I've got these big, expensive cameras on stands and tripods, and people are like, are you shooting porn?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not. No, I mean,
Not yet.
Yeah, we'll get Big Daddy Pine Street Lloyd over here and let him start. Yeah, that's going to fly like the Hindenburg. Yeah. Oh God. But I want to be able to use those and teach Lloyd how to use them. KK, Faith, and the reason why is that way we've got multiple people that can do work with these cameras, and it doesn't just tie me up in one spot or you up in one spot. But yet we still need to be able to know how to do that. So, but it's something that I want to do and get you caught up on a few things and the true crime side. I keep reading that, let's talk about the Amber Spradlin case. Hi, Faith. I love you.
Just talking about you.
Speaking of my girl, that's Faith. I love her.
That was crazy. It chimed in pretty quick.
One of the most beautiful people. Oh, she's gorgeous. But anyways, I keep, I've had several messages that, people are talking about the defense team of the McKinneys making a motion to dismiss the, not conviction, but, where the grand jury had indictment. There we go. The indictment. I told you you're going to see a whole lot of this stuff going on. You're going to see a whole lot of legal motions going on. They were talking about how their defense has not yet seen any evidence. And it's my understanding that they've got several days to make sure, or that they've got several days to put the evidence in their hand. And just because they've not done it yet doesn't mean it's not going to come. So I would be very cautious, especially at this point, about anything you read online, unless it either comes from Debbie or the McKinney's attorney or something like that. And yeah, just be careful and don't get all tore up over it just yet. So I heard about Debbie just posted it, and maybe they will make a motion to, it would not be a surprise to me if they made a motion to dismiss. That motion, those kind of things happen. They do. Whether or not to get anywhere with it, that's an entirely different story. I just don't see that happening because I don't think the state police are going to make an arrest on something unless they've got a pretty airtight case. I really do. I don't think so. Now, like I said, it's not my opinion that they either did or didn't. It's just my opinion of, this is what you're seeing out there. And we told you last week, there's going to be a lot of motions made in this case. And there are. And it's just getting started. I think that their next hearing is actually, or the next time they appear in court, unless something comes up, is actually, I think it's October 24th, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, ruled in Amber's favor. I need to make some mention to people in chats, and then Stace, if you want, if we've got some time, we should have some time. Maybe we can run a little bit of an SBS.
Sure.
So of course, I'm going to mention my girl Faith. It's so good to see you, baby, and I'm so glad to see that you're in here with us. Sharon, of course, Ricky Harlow, howdy, Ricky. Never forget my love for you. Never forget my love for you. And earlier, let's see here, we had Tracy Goggins, of course, and we had Michelle Porter in here too. I love Michelle.
Where'd she run off to?
I don't know, but she is so.
Are you in an OFT on me?
She is so cool. Britta Cottle and Jason, Charlie Boland, James Paul Prim. We need to get together.
What?
Christina, Debbie Scott Goodman, Lori and Helen, of course. We thank you, and we got some new Patreon people too. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, I was so busy this end. Your names will be on there next week, though. I promise you that. As long as this thing keeps behaving, and so far it seems to be doing pretty good. But new Patreon folks that are in, so we want to give recognition to them. Let's see here. Crystal Burks, Candace Thornsberry.
Candace.
Yeah.
She told me tonight. She said, I'll join. I said, yay.
And we do appreciate that so much.
Yes, we do.
And now that this thing is actually behaving itself, I'm thinking that we're looking at going on maybe at, I don't know, 7:30 or 8 next week before the gatherings for Patreon only. And the things that'll happen on there is Katie bar the doors. What you will do on the Patreon website is you'll get a link. Do not share that link with anybody. You deserve something unique and something different and something focused on you. But anyways, you'll get a link. You'll click on it, or maybe you can watch it right on there. But you'll click on it. You'll go straight to a YouTube channel that's an unpublished channel. And in there, you guys will be able to chat with each other, etc. And only you will be able to see what's going on. It will not be publicly available. And that's for Patreon. And I don't care if it's a $3 tier, a $5 tier, or a $10 tier. Of course, the more grateful we are, because that really helps pay for this thing. And there ain't nothing getting cheaper. The bill has went up on this thing. So, and it's not by much. It's by $1 or $2. But still, next year, you can bet it's going to go up again. It ain't going. It's not going to get cheaper. That's just the way it is. And especially if we get into all this other filming and stuff that we want to do, then it's going to be great. So, with that being said, a big shout out to everybody in the chat room. If I missed you, Jennifer Marie, so good to see you. Let's see here. We also have Robin, Carrie, Bella Blevins. Carrie, hey Carrie. Yeah, I think I mentioned Christina. How you doing, Christina? Shannon, Roland Van Hoos, and just so many of you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Michelle Porter, there she was. Yeah. I love Shell. She's just awesome. But anyways, let's go ahead and see. Have you had the box on tonight at all?
Yeah, it's been on the whole time.
Yeah, you said that you normally do run it. That is right. So if you want to, maybe we can get some opinion. Ralph, Jenna Frazier, I got to say hi to her. Let's see. Darla Click.
She knew me.
Randall Irix, do what? She knew me?
Help me.
Help me. Jennifer Shepard. Okay. Maybe somebody over there can or come through and confirm what we've been talking about with this cryptid, the Sasquatch thing. But Jason Caudle, definitely, man, hit me up tomorrow, or Bretta, either one, because I would love to find out more about what it was that your son. And this was right across the road. This was over in Oxford. This was not.
Yeah, that sounded awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
that was scary.
It was creepy. Genevieve Williams.
Creepy.
And Jenny, I hope you get
Creepy.
to feeling better, honey.
Yeah, me too.
It could be raining cash and you pick up a penny. Yeah, she just got some bad luck. So we can ask them to come through and see if there was something there that maybe they know that we don't.
I wish she would, says.
Woman, 7.
Does anybody want to come through for anybody that's here with us in the chat room? The floor is yours.
It's unseasonably quiet tonight.
Hat.
But we,
Tyranny.
So to the beach.
So where
Ricky brought up a good point. He said, try being in the hills on a search and hearing that howl.
Oh, goodness.
shot now?
It's shot now.
Shot now. The banjo is starting. Boy, you look mighty good in them blue jeans. Why don't you come over here and squeal like a pig for me?
Paper.
Jenny, I think you're right, honey. You probably do have a black cloud over you. Yeah.
Films.
Something in Tennessee. 8. Seems like a little kid's coming through again.
It's Augment.
Let's say Helen's. It may have, Brian.
Check out what Tina said.
Oh, Lord, I forgot it. I forgot about the dirty last episode.
I didn't forget about it. It was, yeah, my God, Lord. Brian Clevenger had a good one.
Yeah.
Thought it said Genevieve. Yeah. You got a pretty mouth on you. Yeah.
At the convention.
I could have said XCOM.
At the convention.
No, it said COC. I give up.
I don't know
Warning.
what dimension exactly it is that you're dialing into, but I mean, come on.
This isn't it. It says.
Somebody want to come to the office.
Well, no.
I want a freak if I hear come through and say, "Hi, Daddy."
I wish it would.
I'd be like, "Oh, hey."
She said, "You sit your."
Tina was like, "How can you forget?"
Katie, something for you.
Helen said she's famous.
Jenny.
What did it say?
Jenny.
Jenny.
Almost sounded like he said Jenna, like he was trying to say Genevieve.
Well, that's what I mean, that's what I call Genevieve, the Jenny. Yeah.
An ordinate. He's got money.
No, I promise I'm not hung up on deliverance.
But not enough for.
That's just the most sick and twisted film I can
He
think of.
appoints a lawyer.
Do what?
Summer had it.
He appoints a lawyer.
He appoints a lawyer.
Be a little more specific. There's all kinds of, I mean, there's all kinds of things going on out there that could do that. That could point to that.
Review.
Can anyone tell us anything about Charlie's son, Cameron? Sound like I said off it. Does anybody else want to come through? For anybody that's in here in our chat room? He called me an asshole.
A young woman.
I have faith is what Lori thought she heard.
Who's the young woman?
Hell?
Something alleviate. Tom something. Who's saying Genevieve's name? I am. And then I heard Wade.
Wade.
Wade. Rue. Saw something huge. Oh, I had to listen. I had to duck off. I can't hold a straight face.
Yeah.
Oh, Ronnie. I swear, Ronnie, if you can come through, we miss you so much. Your daughter's here. Can you come through for us, Ronnie? We'd love to hear from you. That was like a little tiny girl before that one.
Lori has a good question here.
Realistic or something holding them down. Could be.
Could be.
Could you come through, Ronnie, and say something? Is that Cassandra? Is it Cassandra?
Kashonda.
That's so pretty.
Mhm.
Vince Gill.
We're up.
Barry, are you there? Genevieve wants to know. I want to see her. No, Ronnie Carroll is who we're talking about. Oh, I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do miss him. He was something else. It sounded like it said, "Hey, it's Dad." Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did.
This old boy. Could you come through and let us know if you're here, Ronnie?
So wait.
So wait. Something with ones.
Survival.
What? Survival. It said boys. And then survival.
Maintain.
What was Papa's name, Helen?
Guitar.
Lori. Yeah, it said Wade 2 or 3 times. I've been hearing it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'm telling you, the energy that you put out for it in our circle here, it sometimes it amazes me. Especially when something comes through like that. So Dad's always been with me in some way. I believe that. Can you come through for Helen or Lori? Is it Wade? Something more out there. Who's coming through with the music? Ned? Ned or Nat? I can't understand. So this is Ned. This is Nat.
I don't know a Ned or a Nat that has. I mean, I don't. Doesn't
No,
mean somebody out there though.
something your papaw. Is that what it said? Lori.
Lori, yeah.
Soaked.
If anybody else wants to come through, now's the time to do it. You can come through either one of these spirit boxes that we've got going. Can you tell me what your first?
What is that?
I don't know. Stacia, are you out there tonight? Can you come through for me?
This is Nat.
This isn't Nat. So it's Ned. Did it say Bob or?
We can make it out.
Take you to bed.
Take you to bed. Lloyd, I think you're being flirted with.
Are you trying to play a song that was your favorite song or somebody's song?
It's serenading Lloyd.
Zach. Or this is Zach.
Yeah, I heard that. Mm-hmm.
Ghost. Does anybody else want to come through with a message for anybody? Anybody that's with us in the chat room?
This is Nat. Destroyed.
Is your name Ned? Yeah, play some bluegrass, Ronnie. Come through. Come through and tell us something so that we can recognize it's you. Zeke.
You do have some pretty awesome equipment.
I've got all of the turned out of it tonight.
Yeah.
There we go.
I was going to say that was in direct response to Kashanda's statement or question.
Got enough.
I've had enough of the mirrors.
This isn't
Mirrors.
I've had enough of the dolls.
Mirrors can be a portal, can't they?
Yeah,
Lori
absolutely.
keeps hearing Wade, she said.
Absolutely. Is your name? I get that. You told me it's not the other. I get that. Is Wade here with us?
Oh, we loved him too, Kashanda. I actually got to meet him. Great guy.
Brenda or Orion.
Brenda, if you could come through for Brian or Orion. Somebody singing to somebody. That was very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
That was very pretty. You have a song you're trying to sing to somebody?
I'm here.
Come here.
That's what it. Yeah. I thought it either said "come here" or "I'm here," one or the other.
Find out who that is.
I'm here, and it's cut off. So I was dangling from the roof side. Peyton's growing right up, Ronnie. Can you see that? It breaks my heart talking to him. Just
I know it.
having to do it like this, it about breaks my heart.
Yeah, I know. I get it. It's not. You never thought that you would have to do this, or it's just something that we don't like to think about.
Yeah.
I tell you, if something happens to me and I kick out, I'm going to come back and haunt the holy hell straight out of Lloyd. I'm going to be throwing dolls at him.
No.
I'm going to have Reagan touch you in your special place.
Reagan can stay over there.
Oh man. Earlier, I had one come through for Alex. I said, Alex, we have ties. And then somebody named, there we go.
That's Trevor's son's name.
Guard.
I mean, I'm not saying it's specifically for him, but that's
Ronnie,
the first thing that popped into my mind.
Oh, goodness, Mary. Bless his heart.
Rolls big heart rate.
We speak. And then it said heart rate.
Basketball.
Something niece or something in basketball. I'll call. Ricky.
This is that.
We've got a Ricky in the chat.
Do you have any messages for Ricky?
William Dress. Is that Dressier or Dressay? Or? Oh, there we go. Dressler. William Dressler.
Like I said, I was using Lori. Wow.
Which is this is the net.
Do you have a message? You keep coming through for me. Stacia, can you come through for me?
At a times or steep line. What?
Something at times and something through the light. Stacia, can you give me a sign if you're here with us? That sounds like it said Hunter. Hunter something. It sounded like it was crying. That was beautiful right there. Does anybody else want to come through before we have to turn them off?
Have you noticed?
Yeah.
Are you a Christian?
I'm Christian.
Let's see. Any messages for Leslie Burke?
Alien real.
Is there any messages for Leslie Burke?
This isn't.
It rings as a to Sarah ways. I already thought.
Work. There's Hunter something again. That is.
Except for how. Approve.
Does anybody else want to come through?
Real new you. So.
Hello? Can you tell me what your name is? I'm standing behind you.
This isn't that.
Can you tell me what your name is that's standing behind us? Babe.
Conscious. Sense of smell.
Can you tell me what your name is that's standing behind me or behind someone? You keep coming through for us. Would like to know your name.
Could be standing behind Lloyd.
What?
So it could be standing behind you.
Yeah, I don't have any equipment on over there. No. Barry Genevieve sends her love.
Oregon TME. Did it do it?
Britta would love to hear from her mama.
Priscilla, are you around? Are you there? Can you talk to us? You don't have to talk to me, but you can talk to your baby girl.
We're East Coast.
Did she say East Coast? And then it sounded like Africa, which makes, unless it's the East Coast of Africa. Sometimes I can make them out quite clearly and others not so much.
I said Archer Park.
Archer Park.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of close by. I mean,
that man is a man's voice. He said Archer Park.
Well, it was named after George Archer. He was murdered.
Wow.
Or shot. I mean, he was shot and killed in the parking lot of the clinic. That was years ago.
What's the cunt? Shot now.
What? See that?
Shot
now.
Now. Wow.
Help you.
Well, apparently that tells me that we're on the right track.
Bye. And that you.
You know, there was actually a bike ride coming together in Archer Park for like a fundraiser for Christmas, I think it was. Motorcycle ride, yeah. Somebody asked me if I was going to ride in it. I don't.
Sounds like some bluegrass coming through. And we asked for that too. I want to thank everybody for coming through for us. And of course, you know, while I'm down here in the office, you can still come through and I'll write shot now again.
Great.
And I'll write down the messages for you.
Oh, Lloyd, Lori said mine is paranormic. I guess that's in reference to equipment you asked her about.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know one brand from another and that stuff. I just, if that comes up, I just ask Stace.
Lori, I wouldn't doubt if it said my name because it's typically the case when we're down here.
I missed her.
Well, they know you're there.
I missed her. Says again.
she's with shop.
She's with Shot.
You look at line, Clay. Stories.
Lori's spirit box. Okay.
Clay. Something Clay. I'm gonna close the portal down. I'm gonna put you on hold. You guys can still talk. Build a tent.
That they
Cool.
Yeah, I kind of get that too, Lori. And I don't know exactly why that is, but that again, that's Stacy's department. It could be any number of
Never
things.
know what we're gonna get on this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it just never fails to surprise me.
Yeah. Yeah, you just don't know what's going to come through and who.
No, that's for sure.
Okay, so you got that turned down?
Yes, got it.
Earlier this evening, and believe me when I tell you, I feel the need to say this. It's pressing. It's kind of like choking me right there until I say it. Just trying to think of a way to say it. There's people out there that are hurting. Obviously. You're missing people, right? Let me guess you've had one of those days. Maybe one of those weeks, one of those years. Maybe sometimes you miss them so bad that you just wish that you could be with them. But you know as well as I do, it's not right. Now, look, I know there'll come a time. But right now is not that time. Now, here's the catch-22 and the damnable misery of the whole thing. We hurt because we can't hear from them, and we can't hear from them because we hurt. Pain blocks everything else. Pain blocks your ability to pick up the signs, to smell that little whiff of perfume or that little hint of cologne, to get those signs that they are, in fact, there and that they are sending you. And I do believe that they send us signs every day. At the very least, they send us signs when we need them. And sometimes you just think it'd be so damned easy if you just lay down and quit and just say to hell with it. I just don't want to do this no more. I just don't want to do this. I am so sick of this. You feel that, don't you? I know. I do too. But you keep going on. And you know why? You keep going on because you don't know how not to. Look, if you're here, it's for a reason. And for some of you out there that just don't feel like anybody cares, that you're not worth it, it's not true. And did you ever stop to think that maybe sometimes the reason we go through those days that are a little bit harder than others are so those are the days that we need to be a little bit closer to God than the others? Maybe that's why he has us go through them, hoping that we will turn to him, which we should do to start with anyway. That should be the first person you turn to. I think I've told this story before. I'm sitting on the couch one night, and I hadn't been long since I lost mom and dad. And I mean, I'm inconsolable. I'm a hot mess. I'm a train wreck. And I asked God. Didn't ask him why did he take them. I didn't ask any of that. I asked him for his peace. And it washed over me. Just like somebody pouring a cup of or a big thing of water just over you. It just dumps all over you. It just comes over you. And let me tell you something, you can feel it. And then you want to start crying again because you know for a fact he's real. And let me tell you something, he's as real as they get. He's as real as anybody you have in your life. Now, I want you to think about this for a moment. You love somebody that much, and yet they keep ignoring you, turning you down, rejecting you, whatever it is. That's a hard pill to swallow. And he does it every day. He does it with all of us. Because, like I said, he should be the first one that we turn to. You can't see them because you hurt. And you hurt because you can't see them. And you wonder, what is the friggin' point of it all? Well, you're here to learn things, and you're here to help others. I do believe that. I think that we're here to help people, and we're here to learn things ourselves. I'm learning every day. I honestly think that my point is two. I think I'm here to take care of my brother best I can, to make sure he's safe and fed, and which he is, and I'm blessed for that. And I think maybe I'm here because of you, to help you, because you do help me. Yeah, you do. I'm talking to you. That's exactly what I'm talking to. You do help, and you help more people than you think. Don't quit. You're closer than you think. Keep going. Keep your faith where it belongs. Not in your friends, not in yourself, but in God. Believe in yourself, yes, but keep your faith in God. And when you need him, that's the kicker with him. You can't just ask him for his peace one time and it stays with you from then on. You got to work on it, which means you got to talk to him every day. Well, let me ask you a question. Stacy, do you talk to Faith about every day?
Several times a day.
Mm-hmm. And would you say that makes your relationship stronger?
Always.
Mm-hmm.
Always keep that communication when you can.
Mm-hmm. And for those of you out there who I hear all the time saying, I really wish that I could just speak to my mom. Who said you can't? Talk to her. Talk to him. Talk to your brother. Talk to whoever it is that you miss. They can hear you. See, that's the thing about your faith. You lay down this pain, you lay down this grief, and it starts with a step to God, asking him to take that away, to give you his peace. That pain will subside. Then you will start to see for yourself. They're sending you signs. A real quick story before I get off here. I know it's 10:30. I'll be up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Me too.
Everybody out there knows me knows I ride motorcycles. I got a Harley Davidson Road Glide. Have not been riding it nearly as much as I should. I've had Harleys for the last several years. But, I lost mom and dad. I lost my grandma before that, about 5 or 6 years before that, my mom's mom. Then, of course, I lost Trev and lost Holly. But let me tell you what I've gained. A while back, I'm riding down the road on that thing, and I'm doing probably 70 or 80. That magic number is, Charlie Hunnan is right. 90 is the magic number. Now, I'm not saying if you don't have experience, you shouldn't be riding that fast anyway. But at 90, everything fades away. And you get that tunnel vision. Sounds, the road, you become a part of it. Anyways, I look up and I see 3 huge freaking hawks. Telling my kid about this, by the way. So I saw 3 huge hawks. She said, and you think that was? I said, I don't think. I know it was. Like I said, I don't have the pain like I had because I asked God to take it away. Give me your peace. Well, going down the road, these three hawks. This is on US 23, headed northbound straight to Ashland. And like I said, I'm doing about between 75 and whatever. Dad said, let me, or not Dad, but Allie said, let me guess. She said, Mama, Papa, and Trevor. I said, close. You got 2/3 of it right. It was Mom. I felt like Mom, Dad, and my grandmother. She said, I'm surprised you didn't mention Trevor. And I said, Trevor was there. He was the wind in the hair. He was the wind. Mom and Dad and my grandmother watching over me. Trevor riding with me. And you get there and you just get this feeling. And you know the feeling, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know the feeling. Your hair stands up on your arms and the back of your neck, and you get these chill bumps. Now, to me, that's the Holy Ghost telling you, yeah, you're right on the money. Keep throwing nickels, son, because you're getting back dimes. You're right on the money. They will come back to you in ways that you never imagined. It may just be a scent of perfume. For Mom, it was vanilla fields. Maybe a couple of hawks or a couple of red birds or cardinals that you didn't expect to see. Only you will know what it is, but you will know if you can lay down that pain. First step is going to God and asking Him. So if you want to talk to them, you don't need Stacy to do it. You don't need me to do it. You don't need Lloyd to do it. You can just talk to them. They will hear you. Now, it helps to have somebody like Stacy around because she can kind of give you an idea of what they're saying back, especially through some of her equipment that she uses. But I promise you, this right here, that's the best equipment you'll ever have. We all want to scream sometimes. I'm just kind of looking up there at the chat just now. We all want to scream sometimes.
Absolutely.
I know that. And we all get caught up in this life. But let me tell you something about this life. It's temporary. It's fleeting. It will not last. We are not this. We're what's inside. And by that, I mean soul, spirit. And I have people, I don't believe in that. Well, that's okay. It believes in you. I always said the devil's greatest victory was making you think he doesn't exist. You can do whatever the hell you want. There's no consequences. Well, let me tell you, there's consequences. Good or bad. There's good consequences for the good stuff and not so good for the bad stuff. So don't get caught up in the moment. And this is the pot calling the kettle black because, Lord, I do it every day. I did it this evening. Trying to get this thing on the air. But I just asked God, I said, you know, if this be your will, all of a sudden things are, well, you wish you could talk to him? Then do it. You wish you could hug him? Close your eyes and do it. I don't care if you're standing in the middle of freaking Walmart. Look, they think you're crazy anyways. Why not give them something to talk about? Love doesn't die. And I'll tell you how I know that. My mom is dead. My dad is dead. Trevor Huff, Ollie Little. I have friends that are dead. And I still love them. I still refer to them as if they're right here with me. Because in reality, they are. Stace can tell you that.
Yeah.
So don't be ashamed and don't be afraid to talk to them. You may think, well, I'll act like I'm crazy if I just go, hey, Mom, I miss you. I do it every day. Now, the one thing I do need to do every day is talk a little more to God like you talk to Faith. Stacy. 3 and 4 times a day. That's great. More is even better. And watch what he does for you. And it ain't saying because you're talking to him. It's because you're developing a relationship with him. And that's what he wants. I mean, he's got to think something of you. He sent the only kid he had, the only son he had to die for you. Just a thought. But get past the grief and you'll see. And do not be afraid to talk to him. You don't have to wait till Wednesday nights at 9. And you'll never have to pay a nickel for it. Never. I'm done. Guys, to every one of you, thanks for being in here. I love you. I love this. Sandra Goforth just said, song by Jelly Roll, who I think he's just one of the coolest cats that ever was. Says, I am not okay, but it's all going to be all right. Listen to that song. You can hear it, by the way, on Q95 FM. I thought I'd give myself a shameless plug because we play the hell out of that song. If it's got Jelly Roll on it, we're probably going to be playing it. Just saying. Next Wednesday, I don't know. Keep looking. We'll have something on Facebook, something on Facebook. Stace will have something on 606 Paranormal. Lloyd will have something on ticklemeballs.com.
Wow.
He's got a smooth pair of criminals down under. So it's, man, we got to go see Deadpool and Wolverine.
Butter my muffins.
Buttermymuffins.com, yeah. Or there's the other one that he wanted to start out, which was granny'sbarnyardporn.com or Granny's Barnyard Friends. So, yeah.
Wow.
He's got all kinds of this stuff. We're going to step out.
Patreon's going to be wild, folks.
Huh?
Next week? Patreon's going to be wild.
Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. Patreon.
Lord help us.
This is tame compared to what's going to go on Patreon because I ain't holding nothing back. Nothing. Guys, we love you, every single one of you. Remember, you got a purpose. You got a reason. Don't let the here and now don't let the here and now destroy your day. And don't let anybody else ever dictate your attitude. You're meant to shine. Shine. And talk to them. Trust me. They'd love to hear from you. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Stacey, I love you.
Love you too.
Lloyd, buddy, take care of yourself. And we shall talk to you all again very soon for you guys. And we'll see you probably next Wednesday. So, guys, have a wonderful night and take care of yourselves. And thank you so much for being a part of us tonight. Good night, everybody.
See you.